Welcome to the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. My name is Spencer, and I'm one of your hosts on this podcast that we do. And today, I'm joined by the other two members of the League of Melanated Gentlemen because it is time for yet another review.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is Brandon.
And of course, I am Jordan.
Now, what we need to do first is tell you about where you can find us, where you can communicate with us, where you can talk to us. We call it housekeeping because, got to keep the house nice and clean. Jordan's going to tell you all about those things.
Yeah, we are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all of the socials. We are at the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. That is where you can, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. That's where you can find us at. And then also, don't forget to rate and review us on, whatever streaming service you use. I think the big two, Spotify, Apple. Definitely leave a review there, and that definitely helps us out. Hopefully you listen to us on Mondays. If not, it's fine. But our episodes drop on Monday. And on Tuesday, bi-weekly, we have LMG Presents Marvel Multiverse RPG. That is the Marvel Multi role-playing game that we have here on the feed. And then on Wednesdays, we have Wrestling with Worldwide Willis. That is Brandon's wrestling podcast where he is talking all thing in professional, the professional world of wrestling. And then bi-weekly as well, we have DC Animation with Spenser and Friends. That is Spencer's review podcast where he is going through the entire catalog of DC animated movies. Spencer, what movie should the people be watching?
Coming up next, we have Batman Hush.
Yeah, Batman Hush should be a good one. So be sure and watch the movie, listen to that review, or if you've already watched the movie, just check out the review. And that is all we have for today.
Okay. So, before we get into today's review, I will go ahead and issue the spoiler warning now. Libra.
Excuse me, gentlemen, but there is a strange phenomenon happening. I think it's a spoiler. Proceed with caution.
And now with that out of the way, there are a couple of things that we need to talk about. So, as I'm sure the people know, the San Diego Comic-Con happened recently, and there was news, because there's always news at these things. And so
Yes,
we
sir.
need to talk about a little bit of the news that came out of that. And Brandon's got that for us.
I feel like I need that reporter music. All right. Now let's go to news corner here. We as Spencer said, San Diego Comic-Con always brings out some new stuff. A lot of these franchises hold news to release it on this particular weekend. And that was the case with Marvel Studios. We have plenty of news, so we won't necessarily cover all of them in this segment. However, the big news coming out of it was we saw apparently there was some small footage of Fantastic Four. It is revealed that it is in fact in a 60s time frame. So we'll get kind of a 60s vibe, which would be kind of cool. We haven't had that take on Fantastic Four as of yet. And the cast was all there. They spoke. It was really cool to see from the little clips that they have on YouTube and such. So you can definitely check that out. Then we found out we got a little bit of the Thunderbolts footage as well. Sorry, Fantastic Four will be, I believe, July of next year.
That's real soon. That's soon.
Yeah, exactly. That's the projected date. I guess they're starting shooting this week, like literally this upcoming week. And for Thunderbolts, we got a little bit of footage of that. Apparently, it looked really cool. Had a really cool, felt very, a lot of people say grounded, so they think everything has to be Winter Soldier, but it felt like its own thing, apparently to some trusted folks in the audience. And it'll be released in May of 2025. A lot of stuff coming out 2025. But then we had some news that broke out. I guess I just missed this, but the Russo brothers are back.
Oh, I
Russo
saw that
brothers are
last minute. Yeah.
yeah. Russo brothers are back. They were there, and they are going to direct Avengers 5 and 6. Avengers 6 is the Avengers Secret Wars. Now, as we knew, Avengers 5 was going to be Avengers Kang Dynasty. That has been changed, as we saw that we have Doctor Doom as the big bad for Avengers 5. So now Avengers 5 is going to be called Avengers Doomsday. Now, the biggest reveal of the entire weekend, the biggest news, as some of you may have already seen, we have a Doctor Doom confirmed casting, and this is Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, the man who played Iron Man, is playing Doctor Doom now. Now, there was a lot of strong feelings. There was a huge reaction positively, but then there's some folks who were not so happy about it. So again, there was a bunch of other news. There was a lot of DC news as far as they have a new logo, which was basically their old logo that they used for their animated universe. They're using that now. A lot of other Penguin reveals and animated movies they've looked at, so you can definitely look for Spenser to watch those. However, let's discuss, I guess, quickly the Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom news. I guess, Jordan, what are your thoughts on it?
So when I first heard about it, I was like, oh man, like that's gonna be fantastic. Like, that's gonna be amazing. Like I was like, he gonna cook. At this point, like we trust RDJ with like, anything he touches Marvel related. And then I woke up, next day I was like, do I really want him to do it? And then I was like, well, let me think about how they're gonna do it. Is he going to be some type of, I don't think they're gonna do a variant. I think they might get away from the variant stuff. But I was like, is he just going to be, you know, the Doctor Doom that we know? Is he really gonna be Tony Stark? I don't know. I got this gonna be Doom from another universe, and I was like, I thought they said the Fantastic Four takes place in another universe. I don't know. I got a lot of questions now, but as far as like him, the actual portrayal, I think he'll do a good job. Plus, I think the first time we see him, I don't think he's going to be like Doctor Doom all in action, beating everybody up. I think it's gonna be more of like how we saw Kang and Loki, like the Loki variant, as far as like him talking and giving speeches and expositions. I think that's what we're gonna kind of see of him at first. And then maybe
Yeah.
after that we might get like a different Kang. I don't know. I'm not Kang, but Doom. So I don't know if we're gonna
Yeah.
see action from RDJ.
Okay. Spencer, what do you think?
Um, it took me a minute to form an opinion. I think that Robert Downey Jr. can do whatever he wants. My
Mm-hmm.
initial reaction was, so are we just out of actors? Like, there's just nobody, like, we don't have any more actors that can do stuff? Like, is that what this is? Because I feel like Robert Downey Jr. being as iconic as he was as Iron Man in this same universe makes it a little confusing. Um, so my question was also going to be, is this a different universe or is this 616? You know, the movie version of 616, because that is going to determine a lot. Like, so what Earth are we on is one of my main questions for this. And I guess that doesn't super matter because they can kind of do whatever they want. But yeah, I think that Robert Downey Jr. can do whatever he wants, and because of that, I have no doubt that Robert Downey Jr. will do an excellent job as Doom. I think that he's a good enough actor to handle the role. I don't know if I think this was a good logistical decision as far as maintaining the universe goes. But
Gotcha.
also, we have some variants of people that look exactly the same and some variants of people who don't. So
Mm-hmm.
again, it's whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, I kind of saw a bunch of different opinions, listened to some stuff. I guess my opinion on it is I'm happy about it. I think it's a smart strategic move by both Marvel and Robert Downey Jr. I think for Robert Downey Jr. was more of he left Marvel to expand, to sort of like, all right, see what else is out there. I'm kind of fatigued on this whole superhero universe. Kind of fatigued on it. Let me do Doctor Doolittle. Let me get out here and stretch my wings a little bit. Oh snap! I got an Oscar now. So now my legacy is almost even more cemented, right? It's basically like losing a team, going to win 3 championships, and then coming back to that team. You're like, oh yeah, like in a fresh new role. Oh yeah, I can cook. I can do whatever. I'm not tied to my Iron Man legacy. Won't be affected by this necessarily. Now, from Marvel, it sort of makes sense because it's like, yeah, they tried different people, but honestly, people didn't like the new people they brought in for the most part. And I will say, like, for Marvel's sake, to give them credit, like they were going to go the whole T'Challa leads us down the forward, down the future. That obviously changed some things. The Kang dynasty, Dante Majors, that thing, that whole like, there's a lot of off the court issues. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that
Yeah,
they didn't necessarily see coming. So this is kind of a pivot, and this is kind of a smart pivot, right? Like a known commodity. They honestly, whoever they picked, if they would have picked a random actor, that would have been like that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure to be Doctor Doom. You know what I mean? And whereas now it's pressure, but it's sort of like we're all kind of like, okay, I'm gonna let him rock. I'm gonna let him do his version of Doctor Doom. As we've seen in the comics, Doctor Doom and Iron Man have had a lot of crossover, had a lot of arcs where Anthony Stark, you know what I mean, a lot of variant stuff. I could see them going the variant route just because we're going into Secret Wars, so it's like to just veer away from variants going into Secret Wars just kind of doesn't really make sense. So I don't know. I could see being a variant and then we getting a new one in the future, or this just being our Doctor Doom moving forward. I'm not sure,
I mean,
but I'm
how
open to
I
it.
feel like they haven't even addressed variants or anything. Like, I think only Loki show is doing that, right? We haven't seen a variant any other way. Well, it's I guess the Kang stuff, but
Yeah.
I think
So
if they're
we,
going to drop that, I think they're going to completely just drop the notion of variants.
yeah. I mean, they just had TVA, and that's what we're about to discuss. So I mean, it's a thing. You know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, either way, I think it's a big deal. Um, some people are saying like they should move on, but I'm also like they tried to, and it didn't go very well. So I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Uh, did you also mention they renamed the Avengers movie and the Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah, I talked about the Avengers. Fantastic Four, yeah, they named it Fantastic Four First Steps.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
And
definitely.
I think that's another thing is we're gonna see assuming this is another Fantastic Four origin story. Yeah, I think we're gonna see in this movie anyway more Victor than Doctor.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
But
think
then it's
Galactus
like, but
might
then
be the
there's like,
bigger.
but then it's like, who's gonna play? I wonder who they're gonna get to play the Doctor. I mean, not
I
Doctor.
mean,
Victor.
it's gonna be him, right?
That was,
I don't
what
know. They
what
got to
I'm
de-age him a lot, unless it's off world.
I mean, 60s. I mean, there's ways you could make him look younger. Yeah,
I figured it was just gonna be what it is, but I don't know if because yeah, like if it's an origin story, then yeah, like he's just gonna have to be like normal human pre-accident. Uh, and I assume that he'll be that for a pretty good chunk of the movie. It would be safe to assume.
just changes. It can't be Tony appearance. You got to like switch some stuff up, but
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard. So hard not to see Iron Man.
I know,
I,
I know.
I mean,
That's
at a
yeah.
minimum, he won't have the Tony Stark facial hair.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, there's only so much you can change. But yeah, that maybe hair. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, to where it's not like just like this is basically the same. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be able to put a picture of him as Victor and him as Tony and look the exact same.
And with the Latveria thing, I wonder if he's going to have an
Yeah.
accent, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because he could do some work with an accent.
Yeah. That's what. Honestly, I think he's like, you know what? Why not do this? Like, this is a huge role. I think he likes the superhero universe, and like you said, like he could. This is a totally different. He can just be a bad guy. He ain't got to be the good guy.
Yeah,
He
like
just he can play the heel.
I mean, that's what it sounds like he's doing. Like he's going to be like he was the earlier phases number one good guy,
Yeah.
and he's about to be the second set phase like number one bad guy since Kang didn't work out.
Right.
All I
So
know, also, they probably gave him so much money.
Oh yeah.
I mean they have
Yeah.
it.
No, you're right.
Especially after this
And yeah, like
movie we're about to talk about.
if they signed him up for the number of movies that are probably going to have to include him in some form, then yeah, like
And I bet you get residuals too. We get a cut of the box office, I bet.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's a vet.
So yeah, like he's gonna be able to live on Iron Man money for the rest of his life, let alone like he's about to just have just Marvel money all day long.
Exactly. Exactly.
But okay. Any other news or anything else we need to
That's
discuss?
that's the main one. Again, you guys can everybody can go out there and follow like Nerdist and IGN and plenty of other um websites for like other like real deep down news, but those are kind of the main points.
Okay. So it's about that time.
Yes,
As you
sir.
knew by the title, we are going to be talking about the MCU's newest theatrical hotness, Deadpool and Wolverine. I have already issued the spoiler warning, so there's that. And so I'm going to read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're just going to talk about it, as is usually the case. And so we open with Deadpool narrating in the snow. Deadpool uses Cable's time traveler to dig up Logan, but he only finds a chrome skeleton. The TVA attempt to arrest him, but he uses Logan's skeleton to violently avoid arrest. We see that Deadpool goes to 2018's 616 universe to ask Happy Hogan to be an Avenger, but he is denied. Deadpool decides to retire from the mercenary game and he becomes a used car salesman. Unfortunately, he and Vanessa have broken up, but they are still friends. Wade is thrown a surprise party, but the TVA arrive to collect him, but he ends up being collected by Paradox. Paradox offers Deadpool a place in the sacred timeline. The anchor of his universe, Logan, dying means that his universe will soon cease to exist. Paradox plans to use the Time Ripper to make that process go a little faster, hoping that the initiative he's taking will get him promoted. Deadpool can't have his universe disappear, so he takes a temp pad and goes multiverse shopping for a Wolverine to replace Logan. After a montage of Wolverine encounters, he finally finds one and takes him to the TVA where they will uh they find out that where Deadpool finds out that he is the worst possible Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine get pruned and end up in the void. They fight each other and eventually find Johnny Storm. Shortly after that, the three of them are captured and taken to the HBIC, Cassandra Nova. She strips the skin off of Johnny's bones and decides to use Deadpool and Wolverine as sustenance for Eliath. Luckily for them, they are able to get away. Deadpool and Wolverine come across Nice Pool, who is nice enough to provide them with a vehicle so that they can get to the borderlands to find other people to help them in their journey. Deadpool wasn't completely honest with Wolverine, and they have another fight that lasts into the night. They both pass out, and they are taken to the Borderlands where they meet Elektra, Blade, Gambit, and X-23. They decide to take the fight to Cassandra and use Juggernaut's helmet to deal with her, powers, and everyone is down except for Wolverine. After. Okay, hold on. Okay, night night. Apologies. Can you close my door? Thank you. Alrighty. Back to what we were doing. Um, After a heartfelt conversation with Laura, Wolverine decides to, go ahead and help out. They pull up on Cassandra and the fight begins. Laura is able to cut off Juggernaut's head and deliver the helmet, which they are able to make use of, and they're able to put it on her while she's inside Wolverine's mind. Pyro betrays Cassandra, and they are able to negotiate with her to have her take them back to Deadpool's universe. When they arrive, they see that Paradox is preparing to use the Time Ripper, which he didn't get clearance to do, of course. Cassandra gets the info about the betrayal from Pyro and pulls up on Paradox. She decides that she will use the Time Ripper to destroy all timelines, leaving only the Void where she will be the one to rule all. She puts an army of Deadpools in to stop Deadpool and Wolverine from interfering, and that fight begins. Deadpool and Wolverine are able to get a lot done, but then the Deadpools start regenerating. But luckily, Peter shows up to distract the Deadpool army so the Deadpool and Wolverine can go stop Cassandra. Paradox lets them know that they can redirect all of the energy into themselves, and that will destroy the Ripper and save everything, but it will destroy them in the process. After fighting about who is going to be the one to do it, Wolverine and Deadpool use both of their bodies to destroy the Time Ripper and Cassandra. Deadpool and Wolverine survive, and B-15 shows up to arrest Paradox. She then lets them know that their actions have saved Deadpool's universe. Deadpool then asks if the others can be pulled out of the void for the help they were able to provide, and if Wolverine's history could be rewritten. B-15 says that his history is necessary for this moment, so there will be no rewrite. Wolverine then goes to Deadpool's house and they celebrate not dying, and Wolverine convinces Deadpool to patch things up with Vanessa. Deadpool gets to keep Mary Poppins, and in the end credit scene, Human Torch is calling Cassandra everything but a child of God. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the film. I apologize. My son came in and needed a hug for
Special
bedtime.
guest.
I mean, we family friendly around here. No problem.
Yes, sir. Special guest, man. First appearance. This is on his IGN page.
I know. That's his well, he didn't have no speaking line, so that's his that's a cameo right now.
That's right. Yeah. He ain't gonna get no residuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if the mic caught him, but
Nah.
it sounds
Nah,
like it did not.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah, so sorry, uncredited little daddy. But
good work on the recap.
Thank you. Brandon, what do we think?
It's tough for me to go first. All right. I enjoyed it, and it was a good movie. It definitely was. It was funny. It had a feel about it that felt important. You know what I mean? We haven't had that in a bit. You know, some people kind of dismissed the last few years of MCU like there were no good movies. There definitely was, and I think this is one of them. Do I think it's the greatest thing of all time? No. Do I think it's top 10? No. Do I think it had a little too many jokes? Yeah. Was it my style of comedy at all times? No. But overall, did it accomplish what he wanted to do? I think so. And I think it got a lot of people who were kind of out already on the MCU. I think it got I would say the casual, we got most of them back, I feel like, or at least back to this movie. So I think it accomplished its job. It's been killing it in the box office. It's definitely a movie you could go see twice and still have a good time with. And I thought it was pretty good.
Give me a number out the door, and we'll see if that changes.
Off the door, I told this to Jordan. I went to see the movie with Jordan. I got to see his old bias ass opinion. I'm going 8.5. Going 8.5 out the door.
All right, Jordan, what do we think?
Come on, man. Let's be for real. This had the greatest character to ever be created in the movie. The yellow and blue spandex. Come on, man. This is nothing short of a 10. Honestly, if I can get 11, I would. This is top 10 MCU movies for sure. I updated my roster and we'll talk about it later. Top 10 for sure. The movie had crazy Easter eggs in it. The storyline was good. The action was great. Everything about this movie was perfect for me. There was literally nothing. There was nothing else I wanted. I mean, maybe a little more X-Men cameo. That would have been perfect. But other than that, everything that Ryan Reynolds touches Deadpool wise has been excellent. I rewatched the first two right before seeing this one, and it was it was such a treat. If I could shed a tear watching the movie, I would have, but I just couldn't get it out of me. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like the movie was perfect, like perfect. Spencer, what do you think?
I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, Deadpool is I in Ryan Reynolds I trust. Like I'm never worried. So yeah, this I think that it was really good. It did all of the things that it needed to do. Of course, I have some because I always do. I have some like, oh, that was bullshit moments.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But um, you know, that's okay. This movie was big fun. It was a good time. And I'm going to give it I think I'm going to give it a 9.5. I'm going to give it a 9.
Oh,
I'm going
man,
to give it a 9.
went down that fast, huh?
I'm going to give it a 9. I mean, down barely, but
Barely.
yeah, I'm going to give it a 9. So, we can just kind of talk through the movie. Before we do that, though, it's time for a teaching moment.
Excellent. A teaching moment would be great.
I need to know who Cassandra Nova is. And so I think the people also need to know who Cassandra Nova is. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, so Cassandra Nova, in terms of X-Men, I would say she's a newer character, newer being that she wasn't around when they were originally created. Her first appearance was in New X-Men 114 in May of 2001. So that right there tells you like she's a way kind of newer character. And kind of just like in the movie, we see that she is in fact the twin sister of Charles Xavier. Basically when they were both in the womb, Charles kind of sensed like that Cassandra was like not a good person at all. So he actually tried to tried to take her out, tried to kill her. But it didn't work, but she was technically born a stillborn. So I guess uh that he did kill her, but not really kill her. Um, but she ended up her mom basically ended up having a miscarriage. She was born a stillborn, but she ended up basically pulling herself together with her psychic powers and basically growing a new body. And so that is the reason that she kind of hates her brother. She does have basically all the same powers as him as far as like telepathy, telekinesis, all the psychic stuff that we kind of see from Charles Xavier. Now, I don't know if she is as strong as he is, but she is still fairly strong, and she always, whenever she cross paths with the X-Men, she definitely has her problem. I mean, they have their problem. Um, that is probably the biggest thing with her. She doesn't pop up too often. So like we have a lot of information on, but not a lot at the same time because she's just like not often around like that. And so yeah, that is Cassandra Nova.
And this has been a teaching moment.
Magnificent explanation, gentlemen.
Now, if this movie is any indication of what she's able to do, then it sounds like Charles is a more powerful telepath, but she's a much more powerful telekinetic than he is.
She's a lot more unstable too.
Because she stripped the skin from his bones.
That was
Yeah,
We're
wild.
gonna
quickly.
we're
The
gonna
Mortal
we're gonna
Kombat.
yeah, straight Mortal Kombat. We're gonna talk about it. So, just talking through the movie. Deadpool, of course, is narrating in the snow, and the whole reason he's there is to dig up Logan's body because he's like, well, he doesn't die. Now, I would like to dedicate a little bit of time to pointing out the fact, unless this has changed, that Brandon didn't know what the fuck was going on because Brandon hasn't seen Logan.
Hey.
Brandon hasn't found the time to dedicate to watching Logan
Which
because
is
he is
wild.
not a real fan.
I am a real fan. I didn't watch Logan. I apologize. It wasn't in my face like that. Now, I will say I kind of knew the end of Logan, so I kind of knew I was tapped into that part at least, to why he was digging him up, what happened there in that location, all that stuff. But yeah,
All right.
Nah, no, he wasn't.
And the
All right.
thing is, like so much time has gone by. Logan has been available for a while, and
Hey man,
you still haven't, and there's not really a reason.
I try to be responsible and try to watch everything that we watch. We have a heavy plate. And so we watch a lot of movies for this podcast, and I try to stay up to date. Therefore, it takes up a lot of my time as far as backtracking and finding different movies, right? So it can be tough, you know what I mean? Not to mention the shows we watch, you know what I mean? So yeah, I wasn't able to get to it. That's my bad. However, for this movie, I don't think I lost much.
There are too many shows.
Did you know who X-23 was when she showed up? I bet you didn't know that, huh?
I mean, I know the character in general, so yeah,
That
and I
don't
knew that
matter.
was the girl, and she's older now. Like that didn't, I could do
That
math,
doesn't
but
matter, like Spencer says.
it was basic math. I mean, it was basic.
Okay.
I mean,
I am still disappointed, but it's gonna have to be okay because now you're never gonna watch Logan, even though you.
I might catch it. I might watch it.
Oh, okay.
I will say, I don't ever scroll on TV and see Logan on. I don't know why,
Bro, do you have
but
cable?
I said because it's on the app. Like you don't need to
Yeah, and
scroll
you
you know
probably
what I'm
don't
TV.
get, and
saying?
you probably don't have cable.
So you're an old man.
I've
Is what
sling.
it
It's the
sounds
same
like.
thing. I'm saying I scroll and I see all the MCU movies on. I see a lot of the old X-Men movies on. I never see Logan on.
Bro,
I don't know why.
Logan was on FX for years, all the time.
Uh, that's cat. That's cat. For some reason or another, it just wasn't in my face. Where all these other movies, when they're good and they're new, they're somewhere. I can't miss them. It's in my algorithm. That's all I watch superhero stuff. So it's always in my algorithm. I just didn't see it for some reason or another. I don't know why.
And I don't know if it's because Logan is rated R that it's
That
not.
might be.
Because
That might
thinking
be
about it,
it.
like I never really saw Deadpool or Deadpool 2 just on regular TV, at
I
least
saw it
not
Yeah.
on
often.
FX all I saw it on FX all the time, especially the first one.
Now the first one, yeah, I would say after the first one, I saw it on FX, but what was it on after that? It hit Disney Plus later,
Because
but
I don't think it was anywhere for a while.
I feel like I
yeah.
was seeing Logan on the higher channels, like the HBO, the Stars, like up there when it
Okay,
was still pretty fresh.
gotcha. That might be why.
But anyway, he digs up Logan and finds a very decayed
Um,
skeletal remains. Like it was kind of funny.
yeah,
And he was
yeah,
furious, but he got himself together.
yeah,
And I I have my first like, oh, is that what we're doing? Because of course, he uses Logan to just ruin everybody's day in the TVA.
yeah.
We all know that adamantium
Oh,
is
I had this same conversation with David. You can continue. I think when David explained it to me, it made more sense. But let me see what you think.
because adamantium is supposed to be unbreakable, and the fact that breaking these bones off and him hitting Colossus fucked him up. Uh, doesn't make sense to me.
So the way David explained it to me, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see it that way. If you think about your bones are not necessarily connected to anything. So like your femur is not necessarily connected to, your hip bone. It's just in there by a socket, right? So you can kind of pop that out if that makes sense. And then even so, like even with like the bones like your arm, he was like taking them out of like the part they was in because like they're not connected, and then he would like stab people with it. Because I was like saying, I was like, wait, how's his bones breaking apart when that's not a thing? He's not like Deadpool's breaking them in half.
Yeah,
Okay,
I thought it was just taking pieces.
so you think that him separating the bones from each other
Yeah,
is fine because he didn't
because
split any bones themselves.
correct. Yeah,
Right,
Okay.
right.
I
Like he
know. I was
didn't
like
break
when David
one
told me that, I
bone
was like,
in
oh,
half.
okay, I get it. Yeah, that was in half. He'd break a bone in half. So like even when he would like smack someone upside the head with the skull, and the teeth would fly out, I was like, okay, well that makes sense because your teeth are not connected to the bone like that.
Okay. Well, he is able to use those bones to just fuck all the TVA up while also dancing to
That was fun.
the NSYNC hit Bye Bye
Yeah.
Bye.
And the fact that his choreography was spot on, hilarious.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I expect no less from
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds.
that was funny.
And so Deadpool goes over to, because we need to know how we got to this point. And so Deadpool has an interview pretty much with Happy Hogan. And it's so funny that he was like, I need to see you know, like the main guy. He's like, as far as you know, I'm the main guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aren't you the driver?
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
There was a
shit
lot of good
all
jokes
over
in
him.
that little period there.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of MCU little yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of MCU stuff.
he
And
he stands up. He's like, "Oh, we're standing up now." He's like, yeah, he knew he's cooked after that.
yeah. And Happy Hogan basically says, you need to be okay with being okay. Not everybody can't be great.
Right.
So you need to just make peace with mediocrity, is what he said to him. And so
Yeah.
Deadpool is like, all right, fine. And so he retires, you know, and decides that he's just gonna be a used car salesman. He staples a hairpiece on a man unit and then you know, gets to selling cars, which was ridiculous. And we knew it would be.
Right.
And so he and Vanessa have broken up, but they're still friends. And so it's Wade's birthday, and he has thrown a surprise birthday party.
Where
And
what happened to Weasel?
so what?
Weasel wasn't there. Remember the dude behind the bar? He was the only
Oh
person who wasn't
yeah.
there.
I think that's because the actor had some
canceled.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Disney
what?
don't play that.
Wait, what happened?
He got canceled. I don't remember exactly why, but it was a while ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
I didn't even know that.
he got canceled around Deadpool 2.
Mhm.
And there was some like, is he gonna be in it because he got canceled?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Disney don't play that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, Weasel, you can't be in this movie.
Baseball. Yeah.
And so yeah, he just wasn't in it. And
Mhm.
you know, that's fine. I'm sure it'd be really easy to just say Weasel's dead. But
Right.
you know, also Ryan Reynolds, I'm surprised he didn't work that in.
Oh, that was a joke. Layup. That was a layup.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you could have, yeah, slid that in there real nice.
Speaking of
Yeah.
that scene too, one of the things I really appreciate is if you watch like 1 and 2 right before you watch this one, the big dude who tried to have the speaking lines, that's been a bit throughout all 3 movies.
No, for real.
Yes, like on the first one, I think he said like one thing and he was like, ah, you're like a background person. On the second one,
Yeah.
he was like, you thought you were gonna have a speaking line, basically. And then on this one, he was like, oh, that was improv, huh? Like you don't get a speaking line. So
Yeah.
like I
Right.
appreciate that. Like that one carried throughout all 3 movies.
Yep.
Yeah. That was pretty. When we saw this, did we see a lot of this in the trailer? At least this like birthday party.
I don't
Can't
even
tell you.
remember the first trailer. I don't remember the first trailer. Yeah.
I feel like we saw
watch
the.
trailers.
I feel like we saw this where he opens the door and the TVA is there.
Oh yes. On the very first trailer, I do remember that part. Yes, because that's when
Yeah.
we knew the TVA would be there.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Also, I just want to say, how dumb is it? Me and Brandon both had the same reaction. How dumb is it for them to play the trailer before we watched the movie?
Bro, did they do that for you, Spencer? I didn't know if it was a duo thing or not.
The trailer that I got was the silence your cell phone. But we didn't get like a trailer for the movie.
No,
we just
we got like the trailer, the guy talking like about how his experience on the movie and everything or whatever. I was like, why are we showing this right now?
Yeah, the director was like, "Man, this is such a fun movie to make." Blah 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 blah. Which is such a great opportunity, and it was showing like scenes that weren't in the trailer. I looked away, like I literally stopped watching it, and me and George was like, "Why are we showing this?"
Like
And
it
I was like,
literally made no sense.
"Yeah," I was like, "I'm not watching this," because I heard like action scenes. I was like, "Yeah, I'm not watching this." Like,
in my
but
theater, they were showing like moments from prior movies. Like before the preview started, it was like the scene in The Wolverine where Deadpool is like cutting through all the bullets, and like
okay,
so they were showing like prior movie things,
Mhm.
and then yeah, we saw Wolverine break the fourth wall to deliver the silence your cell phones message. But
Mm,
that was all that we
gotcha.
got as far as seeing anything from the universe before the movie started.
I think ours was specific to Duo or something. I forgot, but I think it was specific to ours. It
Yeah.
might not have been everybody's experience.
I think it might be like the AMC Dolby Digital type thing.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah, it
that's
was in
probably
one.
true. Because yeah, like whenever I go to Tinseltown, they have the like movie club
Yeah,
uh old
behind the
girl
scenes.
from like they have certain theaters do certain things. So that was probably very specifically an AMC thing.
Yeah, but
But okay. So at the birthday party, there's a knock on the door and Wade goes to see who it is, and it's the TVA, and they've come to collect him. And it looked like he didn't quite know who they were. He thought they were strippers.
bro, heavy pause moment. Heavy.
Yeah, and Deadpool is free.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Is what we
It
know.
was
Because
rated for everyone.
in the first movie, you know, during their long montage of activity, they do a happy International Women's Day.
Oh yeah,
And
that's right.
yeah, it's
That's right.
but in that Deadpool or at least Wade was like, nope, nope. And
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
guess now that he's immortal and pain doesn't matter, I think he's just free. But anyway,
yeah.
uh the TVA have come to collect him, and he gets like taken back and he meets Paradox. Did we know who Paradox was, or do we know anything about
I don't
Paradox?
think so. And as you was about to say, I was literally about to look on. I don't know. I don't think I
Oh,
recognize who that is.
My
I didn't either.
understanding is that Paradox is just another version of Mobius. And
Yeah,
there are several of them, but
I agree.
that's my understanding of who Paradox is, and that's all that I know about him.
Looks like, I mean, if this is the same one, he was first created in 1993. It appeared in a Doctor Strange comic. If it's the same Paradox, but
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I
And
like that
so
actor. You could
yeah.
tell.
And so he's like, "Hey, Deadpool, I can give you what you've always wanted. I can give you a place in the sacred timeline. You can be a part of the Avengers. You can do what you've always wanted to do. Congratulations."
Mhm.
And Deadpool's like, "Oh, excellent. That's what I wanted." But then he's like, "But the anchor of your universe has died or has left, is not there anymore, and so it is causing your universe to it's just gonna like kind of evaporate slowly."
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, well, I'll just go back. Like it's not an issue. I'll just like that's not a problem. I can't believe they missed me that much."
he thought he had the
Right.
main character energy, huh?
He really
Yeah.
did. And then Paradox was like, "You thought you were the anchor
Bro, he was
of your universe?"
that laugh was too hard,
Disrespectful.
bro. That was
Yeah,
disrespectful.
disrespect.
Disrespectful. And he's like, No, no. Logan was your anchor. And
Right.
him dying, because every universe needs an anchor, which I would like to just say, I guess Tony Stark isn't.
Bro, a lot of this stuff felt, oh, y'all just made this up.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
if you think about it, if Tony Stark is the anchor, that's why the MCU has been going downhill. It's a slow
see what you did there.
progression. It's a slow
See what you did there.
progression.
See what you did there. Yeah, it felt like they were just making up some rules along the way. In that part.
Is that made up though?
I was gonna say it sounds like based on that could be exactly what the joke
Yeah,
was.
that's what I'm saying.
Like the
Mm,
joke could be like over
He
the
said over
because
thousands of years.
yeah, he said over thousands of years the world will just kind of dissipate. And that's what happens when the anchor dies. And so if Tony was the anchor and he's dead, then
See,
here we are. I will say it's the reason it's kind of bullshit is because assuming everyone just lives a normal lifespan, how was there ever time before or after an anchor?
mm.
that's just how the universe works.
Can an anchor be changed? Like this is one of those like you got some splaining to do.
Yeah,
if this is what we're
that's my
going with.
thing. It was like if you're gonna create that, now you've opened yourself up to a ton of these people. We got so many time travel investigation detective type people. Nah, bro. It was like why open yourself up to that? I mean, Deadpool, no one really cares, but I'm saying it's just in general.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
I think that there was I understand why they wanted that to be the reason, but again, when you stop and think about it, it's kind of stupid. If you don't stop and think about it, it's fine.
Right,
But
right.
yeah,
It's true.
when you stop and think about it, you start asking questions, you start applying that same logic to anything else, then it's like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
So we're just not supposed to do that.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
those are the things where I'm like, it's just, movie bullshit that's just stupid and like they forgot. Like
Right.
that's one of those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so he's like, "Oh, if all we need is a Logan, I'll just go get one.
Mm,
That's fine. That's not a problem." So
that
yeah,
was a pretty funny montage.
Dude, that was like some fanboy
A
service.
lot of yeah, a lot of like old
that
school
that
legendary Wolverine comics.
that first Logan, hilarious.
Yeah,
Which one was the first one again?
The one that
he
was
jumped
short.
down. Yeah,
Oh, a little short. Oh yeah, he's like accurate movie or
yeah.
accurate size Wolverine.
Yeah,
He jumped off the stoop.
I was like, that shit is funny. And when I saw him, I was like, oh, they're about to have fun with this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I knew that we were going to see every single suit Wolverine has ever had.
You got Old
Um,
Man Logan. You got
You got
all
Patch.
kind of stuff.
He had the white
Patch.
tuxedo on. He had
Patch was fire.
the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine with the Wolverine with the hand was missing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Age of Apocalypse. Dude, the Henry Cavill one was crazy.
Oh,
The Henry
bro.
Cavill one was wild. And
That
I'm
got
glad
me.
we got it.
Bro, I was wondering, I was like,
Because
is the crowd not understanding?
when he wouldn't
Yeah,
turn around, I was like, who is it? Because I didn't
yeah.
think it was Henry Cavill. But I knew it wasn't Hugh.
Hmm.
And so I was like, I wonder who it's gonna be.
Yeah. He was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was like, who's this giant man?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, because I didn't realize Henry Cavill was still that big.
Yeah.
And I don't
He's
know
And
if
huge.
you.
I feel like they took that was a page from the Flash movie where it was like um people who were rumored to play certain characters, they finally got to show up here, and like Henry Cavill was one of those people who's rumored to be
He
playing
was.
Wolverine. So I think
Yeah,
they
he
took that
was.
one straight from the Flash movie.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Ryan Reynolds just again had fun with it because when we
Yeah.
saw Gambit, we were like, all right,
Oh yeah, that
Bro,
was wild.
he's
that
doing what he
was
wants.
wild. Yeah.
He's
That
just
was
doing what he
hilarious.
wants. And so
Yeah.
we
What
see
was the
oh, good.
Jordan? What was the one on that with not the
Oh, and the
cross, but
cross.
the
Yeah, yeah,
X?
yeah. So that's like that's a famous storyline, a famous comic book cover, I should say, where Wolverine was
Okay.
placed he was crucified on the X.
Okay.
I say
I was just wondering.
we recently saw Magneto on that same X.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. You're
But that
right.
one that's where that one came from, is a famous comic book cover.
Okay. I figured so.
And so this is after Paradox says to Deadpool, I'm working on a time ripper to make a merciful death. Like that way they
Yeah.
don't even see it, they don't think about it. It just happens. Like they don't have
Right.
to, it's not painful. Like this whole waiting 1,000 years, the TVA has gone soft. It's inefficient. Like that's kind of the argument that he's making. And so Deadpool goes through a montage of all kinds of very violent encounters with Wolverine.
Hmm.
And he finds one who doesn't immediately kill him. And whenever he
Yeah.
sees that that one is wearing the suit, he was like, "Oh yeah, you're coming with me."
Yeah, I got the guy.
I kept
Yeah,
wondering the whole time, like, what was this Wolverine's thing? Like, why was he like so depressed and everything? I kept wondering.
Yeah.
and I mean, and we get why. We
Yeah.
find out
Yeah.
why. And uh, whenever we get there, then we'll actually dive into it.
Yeah.
But uh, so Deadpool brings Wolverine back to TVA, and he's like, "Hey, I got him. Uh, we can use this one to replace mine. Everything's fine. We're good. My universe doesn't have to disappear." And he's like, "Oh, this Wolverine is notoriously known as the worst possible one.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious that this is the one you found.
Yeah.
And, he obviously doesn't want to talk about it. And so they both get pruned. And they end up in the void. And Wolverine is like, what the fuck? And so they start fighting.
Oh my goodness, that was beautiful.
And the fight choreography, fantastic, as we knew it would be. And Deadpool was like, all right, what the people have been waiting for. So
Yeah.
That was so good. You saw Wolverine like run like very animalistic.
yeah, like
I was
he
oh,
ran
yeah.
on all fours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, we haven't seen that since Sabretooth.
Yeah, I would say I ain't never seen Wolverine do that. That's definitely a Sabretooth thing.
Yeah.
But we see they fight, and then eventually they see, a mysterious figure in who's draped in cloth. And he's like, hey, they're coming, because they make the whole Mad Max reference, and then that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because he was like, that would create IP issues. And then they just
Yeah.
straight up did it. So,
Uh,
he's like, that would be IP theft. Doesn't matter.
They rode up in the Fantastic Car. That was a nice little reference right there.
The little floating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we see several X-Men, and it's so funny because the people I was with couldn't tell that was Pyro immediately, and I was like, "That's Pyro." Like,
Oh yeah, immediately. Yeah.
yeah, I knew. Yeah, Pyro, Sabretooth, and Toad. I was like, "Yeah, they brought the squad back."
Mm-hmm.
Dude, yeah, it's crazy the amount of people they brought back for this one.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds.
I know.
And so after that, Wolverine and Sabretooth see each other, and again, for them, it's on site.
Oh yeah, at any moment,
it's on site. Yeah,
grocery store.
Yeah, it's on site, and so this Wolverine handles him immediately.
Yeah,
like no issues, just done. And so then he's like, "All right, Toad, go ahead," and turns on a giant magnet that they just happen to have, and
I did think that. I was like, what? They just happen to have that?
Yep. Because why not?
Yeah, maybe they're looking for like trash out in the waste in the void, so they need to have something very
collected,
magnetized. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, okay, whatever, that's fine. And so we are initially led to believe that Chris is going to be Captain America because he does the superhero.
Oh, we didn't talk about Chris Evans, yes sir.
And
that was crazy.
My boy, man, I was like, oh, like now that got me.
Yeah, everybody. I think it got everybody in theater. And also, let me say, people. I was talking to somebody earlier that was like, "Oh, I knew that wasn't going to be who it was." I was like, "How did you know that?" And he was like, "Well, I guess either last year, or a couple months ago, Chris Evans said he would love to play the character that that was revealed. He would love to play that character again. So I guess that gave hints." I was like, "I didn't see it," so I was like, "I had no idea who it was going to be."
I saw it because I thought about it. So the reason I saw it is because I thought there's no reason for Captain America to be in the void.
Right, yeah.
He could have got pruned.
Well, there wouldn't have really been a reason for that. Like, he was too important and all that. So
you did have to explain all that.
Like, I thought to myself, I don't think he's Captain America because there wouldn't be a reason for Captain America to be here.
Yeah.
And so I figured out that he was the Human Torch very shortly before he revealed that he was the Human Torch.
Bro, I had no idea who he was going to be.
I'm thankful I didn't because I got to experience that.
Yeah.
Like because when I saw that it was Chris Evans, my mind started going. Like, I almost didn't see what was happening in the movie because I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
So,
bro, that flame on got
dude. Everybody in the theater would die laughing.
Because they rolling up on him. He's like, "I got this," and that's some stuff Cap would say.
Yeah,
that would be like, "Hey, on me."
Oh yeah, he's like, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. He's like, Avengers. He was like, flame on.
It was right then, like whenever he said he's gonna say it, I was like,
yeah,
it's not Captain America. I think it's Johnny because again, also, there would have been no reason for him to say Avengers Assemble. Like,
Well, I thought he was going to say, "I can do this all day." That's what I
Yeah.
thought. That's what I was like. Oh, he wants him to say that. I didn't even think about the Avengers Assemble thing.
yeah,
I
Avengers
mean, Cap
Assemble
has
is
a
what I,
few different things
yeah, but
that he
I,
says.
it was right then that I was like, oh, I think it's Johnny. But,
Dude, that was hilarious.
and
Hilarious,
so
man.
he does flame on and then starts shooting fire at Pyro, which as soon as he said flame on and went up in the air, I was like, but Pyro's right there.
Bro,
And
that's such a
then
Johnny Storm type of attack, too.
yeah,
Stupid.
and so yeah, it went exactly like we thought it would.
Right.
Pyro just siphons him off,
Yeah.
and then you know, all the other stuff happens, and then they get captured, and they get taken to the lady in charge. Now, I will say that's something that I didn't see coming. Like it being Cassandra Nova, I didn't see that coming because whenever we saw the back of her head, I was like, "Is that Tilda? Like, is that the ancient one?"
I thought it was the ancient one, too. I'm not going to lie.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Saw that baldy. I was like, oh, yeah. It's the
yeah. When I
ancient
saw
one
the
out here?
yeah, when I saw the back of her head, I was like, "Okay, Tilda,"
Yeah.
but
He leveled
a,
up.
a different British villain.
Oh yeah, that
Right.
was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made that reference too.
He did,
Yeah.
and I'm glad he did because that's when I was like, "Oh, of course, a Brit." Because whenever I saw the TVA man, I was like, "British villain, okay." And
Yeah.
then whenever I saw her, I was like, "British villain, okay." I was
So
like,
why
are we gonna get a
why
black
was
British villain?
she,
We're gonna see.
why was she in Ant-Man's head? What did Ant-Man get
I
pruned?
I don't. I think I was talking to David about this. I think that's the Ant-Man from What If when
The zombie
he,
one.
yeah, the zombie one. That's what I think it is. But I don't know
I can
why
see
that would
that.
be. But I don't know why that would be there.
I
It's a good question.
also wondered that because I was thinking, like, all I could think of was Ant-Man 3, and I was like,
Yeah, no.
I
He's
don't think
alive.
that's, yeah, like, I don't think that's a thing. So how are they living inside of Ant-Man?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
all.
remember anything from What If, so I'm
I
not
remember
real.
the one episodes I like. I remember that. I like the zombie one. I didn't understand like all the other stuff that we saw. We saw the helicarrier. We
Yep.
saw the big ring that was that Thanos ship? No, it was that big ring. It was in outer space. I don't remember what it was for though. And then we see the Foxon,
Yeah, the
obviously.
20th Century Fox, which was also hilarious.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, okay, we're getting all this other stuff. So I was like, okay, that must be Ant-Man's body from What If, but I don't know why
Mm.
that was there.
Same.
Yeah.
I think it was just another thing to cameo.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the internet has an answer for what that
Oh yeah.
was.
Easter eggs probably went crazy.
One quick thing when we talked about Wolverine, the Hulk.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got a Hulk cameo
Yeah,
because yeah,
He got in
Wolverine
the
and the Hulk
perfect
were
suit.
like they were doing the fighting.
yeah,
Yeah.
that famous comic book cover Wolverine flashes against the Hulk's eyes. That was good.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, we
And
need that
then
Hulk.
we also saw the Thor cameo
Yeah.
that
Oh
Oh
yeah.
Deadpool
yeah.
kept
What do
asking about.
I
That's
forgot. I
funny.
forgot about that. That was good. He literally kept asking about that the whole time.
Yeah, because no, and it was a legitimate question. It was like, oh, what's all this then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's like,
That's
"Well, I'm still holding me."
yeah, looking at it, I would assume that was repurposed Dark World footage.
Yeah, but I don't
That's
know.
what it looked like.
Now I'm curious. Next time we see Thor, like in the future, is that really gonna happen?
I am too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I don't know if that's what happened, but like I just looking at the vibe, it looked like
Well, Thor
Dark
was
World.
completely looked different too. If you remember, he was like all scarred up and everything. He looked older too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see them
But
working it into something. Secret Wars or something.
yeah. And you know, yeah, with the variants and all like it who knows?
Yeah.
Literally anything is possible at this point.
Yeah.
And so they Cassandra Nova shows up in a wheelchair and then, you know, she just stands up and starts walking and
Oh,
a Deadpool makes an ableist reference.
yeah.
I was like, all right. And yeah, she's a problem.
Yeah. She
Yeah, she
also
got
had all the classic, not classic villains, but all the older villains that we hadn't seen in years.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, the Juggernaut, who had been recast. And Larry asked me about it. Larry was like, that wasn't the same dude that was the Juggernaut in '06. And I was like, no, that definitely wasn't him.
Yeah, it looked like him, but it wasn't.
It wasn't him. I think because that guy is like he's older and he's a lot skinnier. Like I saw that actor recently or somewhat recently in Law and Order, and I was like, yeah, you're not the Juggernaut anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, they pulled out all
We
the
saw,
all
yeah,
the
we
old
saw
cats.
Lady Deathstrike, Juggernaut. We saw old girl from Age of Apocalypse.
Yep.
We saw Psylocke, and I feel like we saw one other person.
We there were Azazel. We saw
Yeah,
Azazel.
Azazel. That's what it
Oh
was,
yeah,
Azazel.
yeah.
Yeah, and
From First Class. That was pretty good. Wait,
yeah,
was it
when
First Class?
yeah, he was in First Class.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
feel was Callisto in it?
Yeah, that was Callisto, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Yeah,
I feel like yes, but I don't know for sure. But she's
yeah,
somebody that I feel like we would have seen.
Yeah.
yeah. I can see it.
But and again, like it's not like she just has telekinesis. She had like borderline reality warp, like just a little bit. Because her telekinesis was stupid. Like she put Wolverine in the ground
Oh,
effortlessly.
buried that man.
Like just straight up like went through the ground. Didn't even like she didn't carve out a hole, like just dropped him and then moved
Yeah,
him.
right.
And like so yeah, like her powers went beyond telekinesis. Like
Oh, it was such a when I first saw her do like the hand thing through the head, that one kind of creeped me out a little bit. It looked so
it,
weird.
it was supposed to.
I know.
Yeah,
I was just
And
like, oh,
and again, that's the thing that leads me to believe that she's not as powerful a telepath as Charles because she said Charles can just, use thoughts to get you, but I got to put my hands on you.
yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, every time she did it, it was crazy.
It's weird.
But that was the point. It wasn't supposed to be right. It was supposed to make you uncomfortable. And it
Yeah.
did
Mm.
every single time. Didn't matter how many times you saw it, it was uncomfortable every time. And so before, like, Deadpool, of course, is just talking and saying all of these things that Johnny said. And
Oh man.
Johnny was like, I never said any of that. I don't even know what those words mean. And she was like, Johnny, I've been looking for you anyway. And you talking that shit?
Get him out of here.
Stripped again. Mortal Kombat. It was a
Yeah,
straight Mortal Kombat
that
fatality.
was straight motor gun. Like felt like a '90s kill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was crazy, but I
yeah, yeah,
loved it. So yeah, stripped his bones and then he just fell apart.
yeah.
And so yeah. Um she's like, and as far as you two, rents do,
Yeah.
because I've made an arrangement to be here because I'm perfectly happy here. And
It's
so
crazy.
the rent is due, y'all are the rent. And whose leg was that they used to escape?
The Sentinel from Days of Future Past.
Okay, it was a sentinel leg. Because
Yeah.
I, at first, I was like, is that Ironmonger's leg? Like that's who came to mind first.
Oh, I
Uh,
didn't even, I don't, yeah, that's a pretty good thought. I'm pretty sure it was a Sentinel leg though.
a sentinel leg makes sense because for the same reason, like Ironmonger exists in the main universe, he wouldn't be in the void, or his suit wouldn't be in the void. Sentinels absolutely would be.
Yeah.
And so that was another I couldn't decide whose leg it was because I couldn't really see like the colors on it. Like if it had been the color of the Sentinel, I'd have been like, got it. But yeah, I missed that one. And so thank you for knowing that because that one got past me.
Mhm.
I'm
And
also sure we saw, hang on. Also sure we saw, I just thought about it. One of the bad guys was the Russian guy from the Punisher movie.
I forget. That's why whenever he says which Punisher, there were like five of them. I was like, yep, because
Oh yeah, I'm
I
pretty sure
Oh,
the big one of the big he was like a real big guy. I'm pretty sure that
yeah.
was the Russian from
you're
the
probably
That's
right.
Punisher.
funny.
Yeah, because that's again like I would. That's a reference like I would have had to reach too deep and would have missed
Oh
it.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
Like you,
Have to catch that on YouTube.
glad you
Oh, I
knew
know.
that.
Yeah, I need to catch a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry audience that we're missing a couple things. We got a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
couple things got past us. We're only human.
This thing is Easter egg heaven, though. So I
Oh,
mean, it
yeah,
might set
it
the
is.
record for Easter eggs.
Yeah, it's got it. There's too much.
Yeah.
And
But
so
yeah.
they are, traveling and they run into Nice Pool,
Oh yeah, he was good. Well,
which
first
is
we wanted the
well, yeah.
dog pool
First,
first.
This
yeah,
is
they
when
ran into
this is
dog pool
when
first
yeah, this is when the movie started to
to veer off for you.
veered off a little for me. The dog pool, and I get it.
I knew when we saw the Deadpool core, I knew Brandon was gonna have a problem with it.
Bruh. And look,
Brandon
this is
hates a mantle.
this is Deadpool to its core. Like I can't even be mad at it because this is classic. This is
It is
Deadpool
what it
comic
is.
book all over. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they were reaching. This is Deadpool to its core. It just isn't for me. So then I was just like this dumbass looking dog and this weirdo with a pony. He just got his longer hair and
Why you
smiling
hating
more. I
on
was
the
just like,
dog? Like that dog just
like I don't
that's just
know.
Mary Poppins.
It was just a classic. Like I don't. Why would I care about this dog? Like I don't care. You know what I mean?
Because look at it.
I know.
Exactly. That's exactly why I wouldn't want to care about it. You just be never mind. But yeah, no, this is when they lost me a little bit.
Yeah, and I understand. Like I could see this part of the movie, like a few people being like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm good
Yeah.
on this. So again, I thought still hilarious,
Yeah,
and
it was.
it was. And so it was yeah. So they meet him and he's just super Canadian. Like Ryan Reynolds turned up the Canadian accent on this guy, like with the sorries.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he explains himself and then Deadpool notices his golden guns and he's like, over my dead body.
I know Deadpool's like, oh yeah, I got you.
I was like, don't worry. Like
Yeah.
that almost felt Rocket Raccoonish because Rocket Raccoon be like, I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I'm
would
gonna get
love to
that
see
out.
Rocket and Deadpool interact.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And so yeah, that's Deadpool did a full Rocket Raccoon like, oh, I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah.
And so he was nice enough to let them borrow his ride, and Deadpool immediately goes in on it because
Yeah.
just
I mean,
hated that Honda Odyssey.
he knows cars. He's a salesman.
Yeah, he
It's
does.
true.
It's true. And yeah, like I'm glad that came back around town.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hated that thing, but they were able to use it to get where they're going. And then Deadpool accidentally slips the like, if we can save your world or if we can change your history. And Wolverine's like, what the fuck you mean if?
Yeah.
Oh, what did he say? I was wishful. No, what did he say?
Uh, it was like an estimated wish or
Yeah, it was.
a strategic, a calculated wish.
It was something. Yeah, they set it up. Yeah, I wish I remember what he said.
Yeah, something absurd.
Yeah.
And so Wolverine goes in on him.
That fight was insane too.
I mean, just before, like,
Oh yeah, the verbal assault he just
yeah,
gave
like
him.
Oh.
Wolverine like ruins his life verbally,
Yeah.
and
I ain't gonna lie, if I would have cried, I ain't gonna lie.
oh, he was crying
Yeah,
because he just said, "We're gonna fight now."
yeah.
Right.
Like that was very un-Deadpool, but that's how you knew
Right.
he felt it,
Yeah.
is based on how he responded. So yeah, you knew that Deadpool was like, because the first fight they had, Wolverine was furious, but Deadpool was kind of just like, we're fighting because you're fighting.
Yeah.
Like I'm just fighting you because you're fighting me. This one, Deadpool was like, no, I'm gonna have to put my hands on you
Right. Yeah.
because
You gotta feel me.
I feel disrespected,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I got to have you, as Shannon Sharp would say.
Yeah.
And so they fight just into the night. And one of the things that I also was like, oh, all right, that's something that I should probably just disregard. The Void just has regular ass day and nighttime. like Earth does.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't even think
I
about
didn't even
that.
notice.
so
Yeah,
I
I didn't
guess
think about it.
like a sun got pruned and the void rotates around it. That's cool.
Mm,
But I think that I don't know why, but like I always think about the fact that we still speak in very human earthly terms regardless of where we are.
yeah,
And this is like, oh, okay, we just sunrise and sunset is just normal. It's very the same. Oh, whatever. Um, so they are both passed out from their fight because, they can't really do much about one another. And they get picked up. Somebody, finds the Honda Odyssey
And
and gives
somehow
them where they need
drove
to
it
go.
away. That's what threw me off. I was like, wait. They was able to drive this car? I was
And
like,
I
all
think
right.
that spoke to the,
The
endurance and reliability of the Honda
right.
Odyssey.
I
I
know.
think that was the whole point because absolutely not.
yeah.
And also one of the things I wonder is like how when they return that thing to Nice Pool, like,
Oh. It's
but
okay, guys. It's fine.
yeah, I'll just get another one. But this is where the cameos get real interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's Elektra who walks in first.
With
Yep.
this famous slow motion walk from the movie.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then Blade walked in.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Because whenever Elektra walked in, I started being like I was like, all right. I started taking guesses and just started throwing shit up in the air.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to think of things we hadn't seen or who I wanted to see. So since we're here, let's talk about it. Who did you want to see in this movie? Or who do you wish you had seen in this movie?
I want to see Jennifer Lawrence or Ben Affleck.
Okay.
That'd have been cool.
I know they made the reference to the Punisher, but I enjoyed those Punisher movies. I would love to see Punisher.
Mm.
Okay. Who I really wanted to see was Ghost Rider, like Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider.
Oh
Oh, that
yeah,
would have
that
been
would have been
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Was Ghost Rider Fox?
At the time, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was. Because I don't think he was Sony.
No, he's not
I
Sony.
really don't know.
And,
I'll look it up.
and then I don't know what the situation is with Universal. But yeah, like I wanted to see Ghost Rider and I wanted to see one of the Quicksilvers.
Yeah. No, that main Quicksilver I think would have been dope.
Yeah.
When we know of, I'm pretty sure Ghost
Actually,
Rider is.
oh yeah, what you about to say?
I was only gonna say he. So on the animated TV show Spider Man, he always had all the Fox characters, right? Obviously, he's Fox, and Elektra was on it, Daredevil was on it, Blade was on it. Basically, all those characters. Obviously, not Gambit, but Gambit might have even been on it. But Ghost Rider was on it, so I was like, wonder if it's Fox. But did you find something,
So
Jordan?
yeah, it said it was distributed by Columbia Pictures, Sony Pictures. So it's
Sony.
Columbia.
Probably
Yeah,
got sold
Columbia
around a couple
Sony.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So Spider-Man can use him, I guess. But okay.
yeah.
Um, so we see Blade walk in,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like whenever I saw Wesley Snipes, I was like, oh God, wasn't ready
Yeah,
for that.
you're right. Same.
And
And then the line about, he's only be the only ever Blade.
yeah, he
Oh
definitely does
yeah,
say that. He's like,
that
I'm
was
I'm the
tough.
only Blade. I was like, all right,
Yeah, you didn't take that shot, but all right.
yeah, oh okay. Because and I think he makes that line whenever he says like, which Punisher? Because there are like five of them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's when he's like, I'm the only Blade.
Yeah,
And then we see Channing Tatum as Gambit, which was
bro,
also crazy.
that got me, bro. His accent.
And Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool's like, "Who's your
Run that by me
dialects
again?
coach?"
Yeah, run that
Come on
by
up.
me again.
This shit was so funny. He's like, "We're missing exposition."
With that one, I always hated that Channing Tatum was supposed to play Gambit because I do not like Channing Tatum as an actor. I was like,
Mm,
to me, it made no sense for him to play Gambit. Give me somebody else. But I do
yeah,
love that they brought that back out because I was not expecting. I will say the fighting looked good. I know we ain't there
Yeah,
yet, but him fighting
yeah,
was really looking good.
yeah.
I yeah, I think that this was Deadpool making fun of the fact that that was supposed to happen. And of course, he
Same.
kept making the "I never existed" jokes.
Oh yeah,
Like,
those were good.
because yeah, it was like everybody's like, "I ended up here," and he's like, "I may have been born here."
Yeah, that was good.
That
I
was
was like,
good.
it
That
was
was good.
so funny.
Yeah, that
But
was funny.
Jordan, I agree. I didn't really think Channing Tatum was the guy. I think that Channing Tatum was just, the hot young actor at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so that's like that was purely name recognition, much like Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, like just
Yeah.
for the sake of name recognition, but like it didn't actually make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was
Tom
like,
Cruise is supposed to play Spider-Man. Like they've done that a ton.
yeah, I'm happy that we never saw a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum.
So,
But I
is it?
loved this. Like this was the
I'm
proper place for it.
yeah. This is the perfect place for it because you couldn't take him. I wouldn't been able to take a Gambit, like a Tatum Gambit seriously in general. So this was the perfect place to have it. Like anytime he spoke, I was like, "Oh my god, this accent is killing me."
It was
Mon
so
ami.
good.
Yeah.
Mon ami.
I was
Yeah.
wondering how many Mon Amis we would get.
Yeah.
Also,
It was hilarious.
sidebar, I'm glad that Wolverine had some bubs.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. They nailed that down. They kept throwing that in there. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
It's
we
like a
needed that.
little subtle difference.
Yeah.
You're right.
And then we see Laura walk in, and we knew that Laura was going to be in this movie. Like
I didn't.
I mean, I didn't know it, but I was like, if she's not in this movie, I'd be really surprised. Like she was the one where I was like, she's gonna be in it.
Oh yeah, no, I had no idea she was going to be in it. And it's nice to see. I mean, I know we've seen her like in other stuff recently, real recent, a matter of fact. Actually, the show we just finished reviewing, Star Wars, she was in that.
Yeah, she was in Acolytes.
But I enjoyed seeing her back as like Laura Kinney.
And I will say, maybe I again shouldn't be thinking about this, but she had a heavy accent because she primarily spoke Spanish in Logan,
Logan.
and she just doesn't have that anymore. I guess.
Bilingual.
I mean, but like
She grew out of it. She grew out of it. She's been in a
Gone
void for too long.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, she's been hanging out with Blade and Gambit.
And it's also hilarious when it's like, where's Johnny at? And Deadpool's like, I don't know. He's
Yeah.
I've never heard that name before. And then
Yeah.
Wolverine just kind
Wolverine's
of like,
nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Gambit said, or Johnny said some awful things,
Right.
and he kind of got dealt with because of the things he said. And I'm glad that Wolverine didn't straight up call him out, because at the end we find out Johnny actually said that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that was an interesting. I can't say I loved that Easter egg at the ending. I would rather seen something different, but I also didn't hate it at the same time.
I thought it was fun. And again, it fit. Like it made sense with this movie.
That was a
Because-
deleted scene type of
Like
yeah,
it
yeah,
did.
I agree. That should have been like a
You know what I mean?
Blu-ray deleted scene. Yeah,
But so they are like, hey, we need to take the fight to her. She's too powerful. Where's Magneto? Magneto's gonna be able to do this. He's dead.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
he was pissed.
He was not
Hot.
happy.
He's like,
Because
well,
he
what
knew-
happened to the helmet? It's like, well, she
Yeah.
took it and melted it down.
She destroyed it. And he should have been pissed, because that was the easy, like that's what we do. Like
That was a cheat
obviously that's
code,
the
yeah.
answer.
Right.
And then they were like, the other option is Juggernaut, but he works for her, so that's not really gonna work.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they kept that in, the fact that his helmet also blocked psychic things.
Yeah.
And so everybody's down, and Wolverine's like, absolutely not. Like, she put me in the ground. No,
Right.
I'm no hero. And then, that night, Laura shows up, and she's like, you remind me of him. He's like, no, I don't. I'm a terrible guy. Here's why I'm a terrible guy. And Jordan, here's where I figure you will have some things to say. So he tells us what happened. he basically says that, he was a part of the X-Men, everything was fine, and then he left and got drunk, and the humans came to hunt the X-Men, and then when he came back, everyone was dead because he was not there to help. Now, I would venture to guess that that is loosely based on another X-Men story.
Which one?
I'm pretty sure that there's a story where Wolverine is like whoever projects a mental image in his
Oh,
head.
they already did that. Okay, so all right, I was thinking that, but they kind of already did that with Logan, the movie. So you're talking about uh oh, it's basically Old Man Logan. That's basically Old Man Logan's story. Like
Mm,
Mysterio basically tricks Wolverine into killing all of the X-Men.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Um and then yeah, that was the story. But then that was the same story from Old Man Logan. Like he remember, oh no, Charles killed everybody on Logan.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, then that's still okay. That still matches up then. Well, kind of match. They yeah, it's loosely based on it.
It's too bad Brandon didn't know that.
Yeah, I completely forgot that was
It's
Charles who did that.
fine.
Yeah. Charles had seizures, and Wolverine was the only one who could live through them.
Yeah, he killed all the other X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I don't know how I forgot that. That whole time in the movie, I was like, what did he do so bad? And then he was like, well, he killed the X-Men. And I was like, I thought they already did that story, but I forgot that was Charles.
Yeah. And so that's what I thought that it was loosely based on that.
Yes, you are correct. Yes.
So, uh, yeah, Wolverine's basically like, let me say it. I gotta say it. And so he tells her that, and then he's like, and so I'm the wrong guy. And she's like, you were never the right guy.
Right, yeah. That was good.
So get it together. Like we got shit to do in the morning.
Right.
And so, he pulls it together and he gets involved. So they take the Odyssey and they take the fight to her, and she uh because Andrew just kind of like goes in her office and waits because she's like, yeah, there's a lot that's gonna happen. They got it. I don't need to bother
Yeah.
with that. And so we see a lot during the fight, and we see everybody cook a little bit at least. And the way that Gambit's power worked is how I feel like Gambit's power would work.
Oh yes,
Yes.
where
Yeah,
you
I
gonna
agree.
explode
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
it was perfect. I was like, yeah, Gambit being in a rated R movie, yeah,
and they even
this,
use his staff too, which is good. Like you
Yes.
don't always get to see him use his staff and power it up and
Right.
everything.
hmm
Yeah, I agree.
And so yeah, we got to see Blade cook, we got to see Electra cook. Like
Hmm.
everybody had some time. And so that was great. They're able to cut off Juggernaut's helmet, and then uh Laura is able to get it up there.
Yeah.
And Cassandra's basically like, I see Deadpools all day long, but I don't catch Wolverines often. So she moves Deadpool out of the way, like, hey, you go over there. Like she embarrasses him a little bit.
Yeah, she tossed that boy.
Yeah. And then she gets into Wolverine's head and she's pretty nice with him. Like she's like, "Hey, I can save you from all this.
Right.
Put your faith in me." And it was like he obviously was in on the trap. And so they're able to get the Juggernaut helmet on her. And
Oh boy came up and
she's
lit her up.
yeah, she was basically like in order like in order for me to get y'all out of here, I can't have this helmet on, which was not true. And as soon as you take this helmet off, I will kill both of you. It's
Right.
nothing.
Right.
Like she was talking so much shit. And they were basically like, "Can you promise you won't kill us?" And she was like, "I promise I will."
Yeah.
Like she didn't give a fuck. She was like, "Please, either you die or I do. There's no in between." And then Pyro comes in with the old double cross because we saw that earlier he called um he called Paradox and he was like, "Hey, it's a bit of an issue."
Yeah.
Tells him the deal. And so
I love someone who has firepower, like put the blicky out and just let him have it.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you got firepower. You can manipulate fire. You just pull the gun out. Just let her have it.
Yep. Well, because if he had burnt, like, it would have been hard to explain that situation. Maybe he
Yeah.
doesn't have a match. I don't know. Well, actually, yeah, he did because he was playing with fire while he was on the phone. So he has access to it.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
no. You just want to pull a little gun out, which I'm sure bullets don't come by that often there in the void, I assume.
safe to assume. Or they're just endless because there are so many Deadpools there. So
That too.
who knows? Who knows how the void gets merchandise and I'm sure supply drops just be random. And so they are able to eventually negotiate with Cassandra to say, "Hey, if you take us back to where we need to go, then like we'll be good." And so Wolverine does a lot of the heavy convincing because Deadpool's like, "No, we need to just put her down." And Wolverine's like, "That's not what Charles would want from me. My Charles would want me to use peace in this situation. So for him, I'm gonna go ahead and lean on that." And so he is able to convince Deadpool to take the helmet off, and she's like, "You know what? Okay." Uh, and then she explains that a Doctor Strange showed up, and she opens up, you know, she does the finger thing to open up a portal, which gets them where they need to be.
That was crazy. Yeah.
I I was like, why did Doctor Strange come to the void?
I assume it was the one, like any of the random ones that we saw in Multiverse of Madness. Like it could have been any
Yeah.
of them. And it may not have been Doctor Strange himself. She just said a magician showed up.
Yeah. Maybe a Sorcerer
So
Supreme.
like anybody could have had a sling ring.
Yeah, sure. That's true.
So it's safe to assume it was Doctor Strange, but like it could have been any magician.
Gotcha. Okay, because well, the reason I say that too, because we went to go see it with another guy, and he was like, he saw Doctor Strange's cape in her office.
Oh, the cloak of
Mm,
Yeah,
levitation?
yes, he saw the cloak, and then me and David were kind of looking up some Easter egg stuff, and they also confirmed that the cloak was in her office.
Then yeah, that would lead me to believe it was in fact Doctor Strange. It could have been the one that he killed with the music notes. It could have been that one.
yeah. Yeah. The
Okay,
bad one.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Or yeah, a Strange Supreme. Because Strange Supreme was a problem. Like the TVA needed to prune him.
Yeah. Facts.
Okay, yeah, all right, I'm following you. That could have been that one. Okay, I'll give you that one.
But they arrive back to uh they get back to where they need to be, and the Time Ripper is being prepped. Like Paradox is like, "Hey, is it ready?" And they were like, "We need to do safety checks." And he was like, "Fuck that, load it up. It's time." Because I don't want them to stop me from doing what I need to do. And B-15 calls and he's like, I'm hearing about some suspicious activities going on. What's all that about?" He's like, "No idea what you're talking about. Don't worry. Everything's fine." And so Cassandra's like, "Pyro, you betrayed me, and I need help understanding why. So I'm gonna find out right now." And he's like, "How about you don't do that? How about I just tell you exactly what's going on? Because I don't really need you to
Yeah,
put your hands on me. Like I'd really like it if you didn't do that." And so he's like, "Hey, here's the deal. Here's what happened." And so he dies anyway because he's disloyal. And she's like, "Oh, I thought we had a deal, but okay, that's fine." I will say I'm surprised that with the deal, I'm surprised the TVA left her with a sling ring. Like I would have figured somebody came and got that
Yeah.
because her having that is truly a problem.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
But I mean, if they worked out a deal, they may not have been worried about it.
Yeah.
And so she pulls up on Paradox and is like, "We had a deal. So come here. I need to put my hands on you." And then when she does, that one may have been the worst one visually
Mm,
when she had her hands on him.
yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah, she's going all through back and forth through him.
yeah, and she was like, I'm going to destroy every world, every timeline, so that the void is all that's left, because I am the one true ruler of the void. There can only be one ruler of the void, and it is me. And I assume that was just her being mad and spiteful because it was like, you went back on our deal, so I'm going to destroy everything.
Yeah, because she was like, we had a good thing going. Like I was fine in the void.
Yeah, I was happy. So, okay, we all gonna be in the void, everybody. And so, of course, Deadpool and Wolverine are gonna stop her. And so she's like, and I've set up something so that I don't have to worry about y'all coming to try to stop me. And that's when we see every Deadpool ever. And
I would say
they
I don't know a
cover.
lot about the Deadpool core. Like I don't really care about the Deadpool. I mean, I don't mind Deadpool, but I don't go into the core. So there were only a few of them like I actually knew.
I also didn't know just a bunch of them. I knew Lady Pool, of course. Um,
hmm
Dog Pool,
Which is
of
Taylor
course.
Swift, by the way, right? I
No,
guess
no,
she was
no,
voiced by Taylor Swift.
No,
no.
I'm pretty sure that was Blake Lively. It sounded
Yeah,
like Blake Lively
it
to
was
me.
Blake Lively.
Oh, that sounded a lot like Taylor. Okay,
Okay, because
you're probably right then.
and I know that wasn't Taylor Swift's body. I know that.
Oh
Oh
my
no,
God, that's wild. You just know that. I didn't know it. Me and David also looked it up. Also, the Kid Pool, that was their son in real life.
Oh, I didn't
oh,
know that.
that's nice.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that either. But also, they had on a mask, so I was like, why would we know that?
Exactly.
The
But
other one I knew Headpool. I knew that one. Um, Outside of that, I don't think I knew any other ones.
I was wondering, did we see Gwenpool? I know there was a
No, no, because she has pink and white. She stands out very much.
okay. That's what I was because I was gonna say. I feel like if we would have seen Gwenpool, I would have noticed Gwenpool.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, just so many Deadpools, and we see Nice Pool again.
Yeah.
And I will say,
Oh.
his the proposal fourth wall break was hilarious for some reason to
Oh
me.
man,
He's
the
like,
proposal.
I can break the fourth wall too. The proposal. It's like, that's funny.
Yeah, that
All
is
the
good.
jokes hit. Like to me, every joke that they had, they'd hit. Especially
Mhm.
if you knew what was going on, it hit more.
It
Yeah.
was about a 85% success rate for me.
I can't think of one that I didn't like. Like I can't think of any I can't think of any jokes Deadpool made that didn't land with me. There may be some, but I can't think of any. And so um all the Deadpools show up and the fighting begins. This is when we find out that Nice Pool can't regenerate,
Oh, that was tragic.
which was awful. 'Cause he was like, how long does this take you to regenerate? Regenerate? Like,
Spits
oh,
up blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was messed up.
oh,
And he used
so
him as a shield. That was crazy.
that was so funny.
And
Honestly, it was
still used him
hilarious.
as a shield after.
Yeah, because what you're done. So
Like he had no reason to go to that taco truck at all.
he said, yeah, like a taco truck is basically an ICU bed. So
Yeah. He
and
legit
then
had no reason.
again, another hilarious moment was Wolverine with Dogpool
And I was like, hold
just
your fire.
just looking at him as he walks over there. Hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, another Easter egg. I leaned over and told Brandon this one. So that same scene, they crashed into the store behind them, and it was called Liefeld's Just Feet. So the joke on that one is Rob Liefeld created Deadpool, but he is notorious for not being able to draw feet. And so what he does whenever it's time for him to draw feet, he would just like hide the feet behind like another character or like a word or something. And so they crashed into that building called Liefield's Just Feet. I was like, oh, that was a good reference right there.
It's pretty good.
That's great. And again, that just demonstrates Ryan Reynolds' attention to detail and knowledge of the craft.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, like, if you want to talk about tapped in, again, I fully believe and trust in Ryan Reynolds when it comes to Deadpool. Give him a blank check and let him go.
And you know what's crazy? We saw this like on the credits when they were like going through like all the film and everything of the history. Like when he played Deadpool in the Wolverine Origins, he was like he wants to play that character. Like he spoke that into
Yeah, it
existence.
did.
Oh yeah,
So that
and
was like that's good.
it's right for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's perfect
I
for him.
knew, I knew that Ryan Reynolds was Deadpool when I saw him in Blade Trinity.
Yeah,
Like when I saw him in Blade Trinity, I was like, that's got to be Deadpool. Like
yeah,
that's him. And thinking about it, that's how Blade and Ryan Reynolds knew each other. So
Oh,
they
Wesley
had
yeah,
Snipes,
mad beef.
yeah, Wesley Snipes, yeah.
Yeah, mad
So
beef.
because Larry was like, "Your eyes open, Wesley,"
that was a
because
good
of the
reference. Yeah.
the infamous. For those who don't know, evidently on Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes was very difficult to work with, and there was a scene where his eyes were supposed to be open, and he refused to open them in the scene, so they
Yeah,
had to digitally put open eyes on him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
yeah, he was.
it's a scene when he's like lying on a table,
Yeah,
and it's early 2000s, so it's a little rough. If you notice it, you notice it.
yeah, yeah.
So
Wesley Snipes,
yeah, just being difficult, basically.
basically. Yeah,
So Deadpool and Wolverine, cut their way through the Deadpool army in a very large scale, 2-man beat 'em up cinematic shot.
Yeah.
And they are able to, get to the end, and then all the Deadpools start getting back up. Because I definitely was like, all the Deadpools can regenerate. Like this is moot. What are we gonna do? Because
yeah,
like they're and so whenever they started getting back up, I was like, all right, now what's the next move? And then Peter showed up.
That
And
that has to be a Rick and Morty reference. Like every world has a Peter. Like that has to, because like in Rick and Morty, every single Rick always had a Morty with him. And like
mm,
everybody's Morty was always that person who's like, "Oh, where's your Morty?" And they're like, "Oh, he's right here." So like to me, that had to be a Rick and Morty reference.
probably.
yeah,
But yeah, like all the Deadpools basically were like, we love Peter.
yeah.
And so they just got distracted. And
Right.
I'm sure Peter was like, this is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Deadpool is run. I was like, "You guys can play with my Peter."
Yeah. That one may, if anything didn't land for me, it was probably that one. Like
That one hit for me.
I didn't, I was like, okay. Um, so uh they get to Paradox, and Paradox explains the only way to finish this off is because he was like, there's nothing we can do. And they're basically like, try again. And so he said, well, I guess if you create a bridge between the matter and the antimatter, it can be done, but it will absolutely obliterate whatever makes that bridge.
Mm,
And so they're like, cool. So they both go down there, and Deadpool says to Wolverine, like, hey, I'm the one who brought you into this. I'll do it. Like you didn't come here for this. You didn't this is not what you signed up for. I lied to you. It's fine. And then Wolverine is like, you have a family, I don't.
right.
I'll do
Yeah.
it. Like I don't have nobody to go back to. And so Deadpool's like, cool. Okay. And then he, gets his way in there. I feel like he does a similar thing in Deadpool 2, where he sacrifices himself to, make the big play and to basically say, like, I am a hero and I care about the people involved. So if anybody's got to go, I will be the one to go.
Yeah.
So this is the hero part of the anti-hero. And so, another thing that may not have made it for me was whenever he was just wasting time uh using the window for
Oh
effects.
yeah.
I was like, okay,
For me,
one too many.
I'll see. For me, I was like, if they do one more, it was too many. It would, but they stopped it. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
that was good.
And then he was like, I'm kind of just stalling because I'm scared. Like I might actually die. And then Wolverine eventually breaks the door down. Because my thought is like, Deadpool, I don't think you're gonna be able to reach. And once Wolverine started like putting dents in the door, I was like, okay, they're both gonna do it.
I was like, why he didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that too. But I was like, why he didn't? Why he just didn't cut it?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, it could have been an adamantium door. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah. Well, if it was, then I don't know if he would have been able to put the dents in it that I don't know. Um, regardless, he's able to break down the door and create that connection, which eventually, goes up the chain and destroys Cassandra and the Ripper. And so then B-15, the CEO or the boss shows up, and Paradox just gets a lion.
Yeah.
Just fabricating a whole story. And and all of his people are just kind of looking at each other like, are we just gonna let him lie like this?
Mm.
And then whenever Deadpool and Wolverine show up, he's like, fuck. Like he was immediately pissed.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think they was gonna make it out. I thought this was gonna be like a send off for both of them, or at least for
The
Wolverine.
fact that they both just were alive, no big deal. Like, it was just kind of like, I don't know if it was a joke or if that was just like, yep, we're alive. Like, and just kept it pushing. That was just weird to me.
I think the point was, if only one of us had done it, then we would have died. But through the power of friendship.
Jeez.
Oh, we didn't mention. Oh, my bad. Keep going.
Go ahead.
The cowl. Wolverine put the cowl on his head.
Yes, he did.
Dude, that I thought it was gonna look dumb, but it looked fire to me. I could be a little biased, but it looked fire.
I think it looked good, but it looked like it was out of proportion. I think that because it's always drawn, the proportions are there are proportions that I'm used to. And so applying it to real life, the proportions felt off to me. But that's because, whenever people draw comic books, they're like not proportioned like human beings are. And so I think that's why it looked weird, because I mean, this might sound stupid, but I'm used to the weird proportions in the comic book with the cowl. And so whenever they tried to apply that to real life, it looked weird in real life because of the stupid proportions in the comic book.
Yeah, sure. No, I thought it looked good. I was not expecting to put the cowl on, but it looked really good.
Whenever he didn't have arms on his suit anymore, like whenever he was sleeveless, I was like, they're going to put the face on him. I don't know when, but because I don't even know how he ended up without sleeves. I assume just their fight.
Yeah, throughout the fight.
But yeah, like once the sleeves came off, I was like, they're gonna put the head on him. I know it. I don't know when, but the fact that Deadpool's face works, because I always wondered like, how are they gonna do like eyes that are just white that you can still like see? I was like, how is that gonna work? And then when it did, I was like, with Deadpool, whenever it was perfect, I was like, yeah,
you can kind of do it for anybody now.
Yeah, I was like, Wolverine's gonna have a Wolverine face. So yes, this was the first time we actually got to see him put it on, and like we got to see it live, and I think it worked for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah, like on its own, it looked perfect. But yeah, like again, for me, just the whole package, I was like, it looks weird, but I don't know if there was a way to avoid that.
That's fair.
Brandon, what did you think?
I thought it looked pretty good, honestly. That was one few things I didn't really have much critique for. Like I noticed it, thought it was funny, thought it was a cool reference. But yeah, I thought pretty good for like, for the circumstances of live action.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying it looked bad, but
yeah,
in my head it looked weird.
Yeah, I can see that.
But again, they're like not through any fault of that. Like I don't think there's anything they could have done about that.
Right.
Like that's not a thing you can fix because again, the way that comic books are drawn, like Wolverine's got stupidly wide shoulders and
Yeah.
all that in comic books and cartoons. So like there's nothing you could do.
Right.
But so yeah, B-15 is, getting the story from Paradox and, Wolverine and Deadpool show up and because they survived, Paradox just gets arrested.
Yeah.
And that's when she tells them like, "Hey Deadpool, your universe is saved. It's not gonna die. Everything's cool." It's like, "All right, could you I got a couple favors. There are some people that are still in the void that were very helpful in making this thing possible. Could we get them out?"
Yeah.
Also, my man's here has been through some really rough shit. Could we just like rewrite his whole situation? Like y'all can do that, right?
I knew they was gonna say no. I knew they was gonna say like that's what makes you you. That's just like
Yeah.
that was like a trope. Like I knew
Yeah,
that was gonna happen.
that was a movie
Yeah.
trope. Yeah,
Yeah.
like without that, yeah. And so she basically is like, yeah, we're not gonna do like you don't need to be rewritten because if you hadn't gone through that, then we wouldn't be here.
I wish I could
So
remember
Yeah.
what Deadpool said. Did he say like an educated wish?
educated wish. I think
Is
that's
it
what it was.
is that what it was?
Yeah, educated was the word. I think it was an educated wish.
Okay.
That feels
Interesting.
right. And so, and yeah, that was one of those things like, that's such bullshit, but I love it.
Yeah.
And so, Wolverine and Deadpool go back to Deadpool's house, and Laura is there too. They're just having a good time, being friends. Does the whole like, "Hey, blind roommate, this is Wolverine, and this is Mary Poppins."
Oh, and then she made her touch the tongue. That was gross.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, and she responded like a black lady would.
Yeah. The fuck?
Like,
Yeah.
oh God, that was funny. And so so I wondered, I was like, so I noticed that Electra Gambit and Blade weren't at the house. Um, does that mean they didn't make it, or they just
I,
weren't
s-
invited?
I assumed they weren't invited,
Or did
and
they go to
Laura
their
came because of
own,
Wolverine.
like maybe they went to their own respective, like they had their own shit to do?
Yeah.
Because the three of them, just sitting around a table having a good time, not likely.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what that was, but okay. And so, then Wolverine is like, "Hey, I'll hold the dog. You need to, make right with Vanessa." And so he was basically like, "I did all this for you."
Yeah.
And yeah, that's that's the movie. And then again, at the end, we see that Human Torch is just calling her
Oh yeah,
out
he
of
was going
her.
in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Call it.
That wasn't very funny to me, but I guess it's
No,
the
I
joke
agree.
style. He just
I
kept
enjoyed it.
going.
Yeah, I was like, I wish it was something different. Like I do wish it was something different, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I,
it's not
I
a big
was
deal.
I was thinking like the end credit scene is not going to be anything relevant. Like
Yeah.
gonna be completely honest. I very genuinely thought that the end credit scene was going to be Deadpool walking up to the camera, giving us a middle finger, and then cut to black.
Oh, like something like that. Yeah.
Like I thought it was going to be something like that. Something like these end credit scenes are stupid. Like it was going to be a fourth
Yeah, I
wall
thought it was gonna
break
be a
for
yeah, I thought
end
it was
credit
fourth wall
scenes.
break. That's what I was expecting.
So yeah, like I thought, yeah, he's just gonna come, give us a middle finger, make some joke about Disney or something. Like I thought that's what it was gonna be. And so
Yeah.
I'm okay with what we got.
Yeah.
But
What's y'all's ratings? Did your ratings change?
Brandon, I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah.
Mine is mine is probably still the same now. I will say I'm gonna see it again, so this could change, but I'm gonna keep it at 8.5.
I need to see it again too.
Yeah,
But
I want this to be the highest grossing rated R movie, period. Like
I can
that's
tell you
what
right
I want.
now, it is doing buku crazy money right now.
And I knew it would.
I wonder
But
how
yeah.
much what's his name got paid. Hugh Jackman.
They got Disney money now, so
Yeah.
again,
Uh,
I'm sure it was something absurd.
yeah. And I mean, also for my rating, I mean, my rating not dropping. That's wild to even think.
I think I'm going to keep this at a 9.
Okay. I
So, oh, good.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so now we can kind of talk about where this lands in the whole MCU scape, because there are now 34 official MCU films. And if you keep up with this podcast, which I know you do, and you've been a loyal listener for so long, then you have heard us discuss our ranking of MCU movies.
Got a whole episode on it. Go check it out.
It was multiple parts.
Yeah, I was say, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
probably say multiple.
Yeah. So it took us a while to discuss it. And so we keep an updated, relatively current ranking for MCU movies. Now, I will say, since the last time we all talked about it, some of the movies may have shifted positions because we've had time to think about it. We've discussed it, reflected and whatnot. But Brandon, where you already said at the beginning that this was not top 10, and Jordan, you said it was. So, Brandon, where did this movie land number wise, and what do you have directly above it and directly below it?
So I haven't added it yet because I'm still kind of wanted to debate this with you all. I'm I'm not seeing top 10, but I'm seeing, top 15 for sure. And then I'm kind of in the I'm gonna throw out some names and y'all tell me if it's better or not. Essentially, uh, Guardians 3.
Better.
Better.
See, I don't think so.
This
Okay.
is
I don't think definitively. If it is better, maybe. I don't think it's a better movie.
This
I
is
think
why
I think it was
everyone
funnier.
has an opinion. Some people
No,
are
facts.
wrong, and some people are right.
Like funnier, better movie, better story. Not at all. Um. Okay. Is it better than Iron Man?
One,
Yes.
Any. And here's the thing.
yes,
Let me say this before we get too far. I have already made it very clear that for me, there's a distinction between something being better and me liking something. Like those are not always the same thing. And so my own personal ranking is more do I like it? How do I feel about it? So I do think that objectively, the first Iron Man is a better movie than this movie is. But I like this movie a lot more than the first Iron Man. And it did significantly better than the first Iron Man in my ranking.
Yeah. For me, see, my personal ranking, I approach it as in I enjoy it, but like my favorite movie. You know what I mean? Like, was it a movie I enjoyed, and also like overall story, like whatever it
But
is, even
but
comedy, like was it funny?
and Brandon, we've already established that you don't like rated R content.
It's not that I
Like,
don't like rated R. It's just the style of. I think it's more of the. I think it's more of this. Like, this was funny. Like, I'm not. I don't even think the rated R part threw me. It was more the story wasn't like amazing. Like the villain was trash. Like the villain wasn't great. Right, very forgettable.
yeah.
Which is not necessarily its fault, but very forgettable. And like,
disagree. Like she was a problem.
I mean,
And
we also have which I haven't updated. We have our villain rankings as well.
I have
yeah,
not. Yeah, I don't know where she's going to land in my villain ranking,
Yeah,
but
same.
in my opinion, like she was appropriately menacing because what we often see is a villain who like can't realistically do like get anything done. Like using the Marvels as an example, like there's no way that villain is hanging with the three heroes in the movie. Like that's stupid. And this is a situation where like she was a problem. like there wasn't a lot they could really do about her based on the power she was working with. And so she was appropriately menacing. And I will say, yes, as far as motivation, she was evil just for the sake of being evil. Like that was her reason. Like she's just evil because
Mm.
we need a villain. But I mean, she was a businesswoman for the most part, and then whenever they tried to play her, she was like, "Oh, okay, I got something for y'all." But her whole thing was being unstable, and that's why they tried to keep her essentially sedated. But then whenever she got played, she was like, "Oh, okay, that's what we're doing. I got something for y'all." And that's why uh Paradox wanted her dealt with because she was too unpredictable. And mainly, I
Strength
think,
wise, I get it. Like I get it. Power wise, sure. She's probably
but
one of the
yeah,
stronger if you just break it down point by point. But
and that's what I'm saying.
I'm
I think that as far as stakes go, and as far as her being like a threat, yeah, very high. Because
mm,
there are a few things I need from a villain, and that's one of them. Like, am I like, do you have me worried for these heroes? Like, is it do I or could you believably win the day? And in that regard, yeah, she was a problem. Again, as far as
nice.
like villain motivation, yeah, not great. Very
I
just
just
like evil because.
I don't know. I like I don't want to take powers out of it, but
I'm gonna say is I don't think she's trash,
I won't say trash. She's
but
very forgettable to me.
I think she's probably in the middle, but like I'd have to look at my list to see if she breaks top half, but I think she's in the top half. And I think that a part of that is the fact that and we've said this before, the MCU kind of has a villain problem.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
they
I feel
have
like this. I mean, this is a better job than that, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, she's okay, but again, I don't think story wise this was just some elite story. But
oh
okay,
no.
we'll talk about it. All right, so all right, is this better than Winter Soldier?
No.
No,
Is this better? We don't have to talk about Avengers. Is it better than Avengers 1?
No.
no.
I will let me say this, let me just go ahead and put this out there. We all landed on a top five. The
Yes,
three
sure.
of us agreed.
Hmm.
This is
Well,
not this
with
is not
Jordan, you never
cracking
know.
this is
Jordan,
not
you never
cracking
know.
my top five. I
Okay,
will I can go ahead and put that on the table. This is
okay.
not cracking my top five.
We'll
Brandon, we know
start.
it's not cracking yours. Jordan,
That's facts.
I wonder if it's gonna crack your top five because again, that top five was locked in.
Yeah. It did not crack my top five.
Okay. That I feel
Yeah, but
good
yours is
knowing
more
that.
important. Where do you have it?
Me,
Yes.
number 6.
That's what I figured.
It beat out.
I assumed it was gonna be number six.
So Shang-Chi was number 10. It pushed Shang-Chi to 11, and it pushed Guardians of the Galaxy 3 down to number 7. So I got
You
Infinity War right
wait.
above it.
You have Civil War behind it.
No, no, no. In front of it. Oh, did I say Civil War?
No,
You said Shang-Chi got moved down to
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
11,
Yeah, you were talking about 10 and 11. But what
and
is next to?
you said
So yeah,
Guardians.
Guardians 3 is right behind Deadpool and Wolverine. And Infinity War is in front of Deadpool, Wolverine at number 5. So I got it at number
Okay.
6.
So what's 7, 8, 9 basically?
7, Guardians 3, 8, Guardians 1, 9, Doctor Strange, Multiverse, 10, Ant-Man now.
That's right. You have Doctor Strange Multiverse in your top 10. All right, that tells me what I need to know.
It's
Okay.
a good
All
movie.
right.
It's a fun movie.
Brandon, where did it end for you?
I'm probably gonna land around. I'll probably land at 11 or 12.
Oh, okay.
I think it's again. I think it's a good movie. I'm struggling with it. Is it better than Ragnarok? I'm struggling.
What?
I don't think it's better than. I don't think it's straight up better than Ragnarok.
Bro, get
I
off
don't think
this,
it's very.
bro. You was
I don't think
drunk.
it's. No, I'm serious. I don't think it's better, straight up better than Guardians 3. I don't think it's straight up better than Iron Man. I don't think it's like Ant-Man, Black Panther 2. I think it's better than those two movies. But like, again, I'm talking about full movie. I get it. It was hilarious. It was. But story-wise, I was not like, oh my God, I am enthralled in this story. I was having a good time. And I get it. Like, that's honestly what these lists are for. I get it. But like, if I want to watch a movie just for a good time and a story, yeah, this ain't cracking my top 10. So I'm probably gonna lock in at 12.
Okay. I have this at 7.
What's in front of it?
Black Panther 2,
Gotcha. Okay. What's behind it?
Ragnarok.
Okay.
And y'all know how I feel about Black Panther 2. I will die on that hill. So
That is a hill to die on, sir.
yeah, that's the thing. I understand it's a take.
It is a take.
Like, it is absolutely a take.
But it's your take. That's all that matters.
One thing I love
Yeah.
about Spencer, he will hang on a take. Like he had Civil War is your number one.
Yeah.
Or, well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Civil War is your number one.
Yeah.
So like he's hung on to that since the day I met Spencer. So I
Yeah,
respect it.
Civil War been number one. Yeah, since the day we met.
Yeah.
And is,
Yeah.
as they say.
Yeah.
So
wait. Okay, keep going. You said what's around it again? You said Black Panther 2 is in front. Behind it is Ragnarok.
Yeah. So I have Black Panther 2 at 6 and this at 7, Ragnarok at 8, and then I have No Way Home at 9, and then Black Panther 1 at 10.
Yeah, like I feel like No Way Home's better to me, anyways. To me.
Okay. You ball out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I could also be biased. I mean, Wolverine is my favorite character. So that could be playing some biases in there.
I think that is very likely because I will say for you to call it a 10 is that's a tall.
That's a 10. But
yeah, that's Infinity War. That's
what I am struggling on. What I am struggling on is this better than Logan? And I would probably say no.
Not even close. Like to me, from what I've heard, Logan is a great story. Now, again, you guys may tell me like action wise, all the other stuff. Obviously not. It's not a comedy. It's more of a western. But like,
yeah, it's not. No comedy at all.
Yeah, it's a western. Like, yeah, and a lot of tragedy apparently.
Yeah,
like
the movie sad.
So you're thinking it's in the same realm? You're saying, Jordan?
Yeah, I honestly might go back and forth on this one because this Wolverine, I got the costume, I got the great fight scenes, I got to see the visceral savagery of Wolverine. But in Logan, that story was just amazing. And that was, to me, that was a different Logan. That was old man Logan. That was a Logan who'd been through some stuff. So it was just different. Honestly, I don't know. I'm going back and forth now. I don't know if this is better than Logan or not. I think that would be a good question for the Facebook group. Is this better than Logan? What do you think, Spencer, since you have seen it?
So, Logan's really good.
I know.
Like, there's no discussion. Logan's a better movie.
Yes.
Which one do I like more, though? That's gonna depend on my mood.
It's tough. It's tough, huh?
Logan's hard to just sign up and watch again. Sound like, because there's a lot of emotion.
Now, here is the question I do have. Rank the Deadpool movies.
Oh, easy. 3, 1, 2.
Brandon?
Where do I have Deadpool, actually?
Because Deadpool's not MCU, so it's not on
that's
list.
what I was like, okay. To me,
so, is this one better than 1? Is the question I'm really asking you? And you liked 2 more than 1, actually.
Which is crazy.
I did. That's tough, man. I might re-rank. I might go 1, 3, 2. Actually, because I watched Deadpool 1 recently.
I watched both of them back to back last weekend.
Yeah. 1, 3, 2 for me.
Okay. I'm the same as Jordan. I think that this one is better than 1. And so I go 3, 1, 2.
Yeah, dude. If they would have threw Domino in this movie too.
That's another person I wanted to see.
Oh man,
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to see
I
that.
really want to see Domino back.
Because I feel like when Deadpool said, or somebody said, like something to the effect of "I'm the luckiest man alive," and I just knew Domino was going to make an appearance right then.
Yeah,
Domino should have been there. Yeah,
yeah, that'd have been
But,
fire.
but yeah,
She was
like
great in too.
she was another person I missed. Like and
yeah. For some reason, they
because
had
she's in that
Shatterstar.
world.
Right. Like to
Yeah,
me, why did they have Shatterstar there instead of Domino? Like I was
yeah,
like, that was random.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Weird.
that's who I would like to have seen from that universe. Because yeah, Domino was yeah. I Zulzy, she was great. So
Now I will say, Jordan, I posted something in the Facebook group. People can reference it. They do that. You know that game where they say like say something if a movie is better than
Yeah.
Deadpool 3, and the dudes was like Ant-Man popped up, and they was like, and I was like, I can't really defend that, but Ant-Man is an underrated movie. But they were kind of Guardians 3. They were naming a few movies, but I mean it was rated high. So um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I this is to me top 10, number 6, like I said.
I'm excited to see the Facebook group's reaction. 'Cause to
Yeah.
me, this ain't there. But again, I could be the minority. I probably am. So I'm excited to see what the folks, the family, got to say about it.
Yeah. Um, so any other questions before I throw out this Rotten Tomatoes stuff?
oh yes, Rotten
Mm.
Tomatoes.
No, sir.
I say it's been a
Forgot.
while since it's been a while since we done one. The last one was the
So we haven't
Marvels.
yeah, so we haven't reviewed a
A
movie. Like it's
movie
just
in a
been a
long
bunch of
time.
shows.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So if this is your first time, we like to play a little game where Brandon and Spencer try to guess what the audience score and what the critic score is for Rotten Tomato. Now, we don't necessarily care truly what critics think, because oftentimes, critics be criticking, and we just like to kind of see what, if we're tapped in to see what, what other people think. I truly don't care about Rotten Tomato scores like that. I just think it's fun to do. So, with that being said, let me just give a little update because it's been a while. So, with total wins, Spencer has 12, and that's him guessing the audience score or critic score. Brandon has 7 wins. They have actually tied twice, but the overall win amount goes to Spencer. He tends to win this game a lot. Um, so let's start out. We'll start with the winner, Spencer. What do you think the critic score is for Deadpool Wolverine?
Um, I think I I feel like the audience score is going to be really high, but I feel like the critic score is going to be not quite. So I want to say the critic score is going to be like 84.
Okay, 84. And Brandon, what do you think?
Damn. Took a good number. For critics, I'm gonna lean a little higher. I'm gonna go 87.
Okay. Spencer, you said 84, Spencer?
84, yes.
And 87. Okay. So, with a total of 304 reviews as of today, the tomato meter for critic score is sitting at 79%.
Ooh,
Damn.
So once again, Spencer wins that one.
that is surprising because oh, I guess superhero movies and critics. Okay,
Yeah, you know how people feel
I could
about critics feel about superhero movies now.
I could see it. I'm interested to see once more votes are cast. I can see it. Like what Spencer said, 84, I could see that. Or like mid 80s, I could definitely see critic poking some holes, very easy holes. But 79 is kind of crazy.
yeah, like that's low.
Yeah.
But I feel like last time we looked, Black Panther was at a 79.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like that was more specifically like haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Brandon, we'll let you start this round off. What do you think the audience score is?
I'm gonna go with a 94.
Okay. Spencer, what do you think?
96.
With a total of 10,000 plus verified reviews,
Damn.
yeah, I know it's a lot. The audience score is sitting at a 97%.
Ooh, almost.
What?
So once again, Spencer cleans up.
And I
Bro, 97 is crazy.
Nah,
97 again, that's about right
that's too
because
low.
a nostalgia trap gets a lot of people.
Yeah, you
It
probably
just
right.
it just came out.
I didn't factor that
It's
in.
still fresh. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Like 97. Yep.
That's
Brandon,
crazy.
Spencer straight smokes you every single time in this game, but it's fine. It's
First of
fine.
all, smoking is we both picked in a range and he got closest to it. Like that's not like an exact
And,
like
and
pick. Now
like
that one was exactly almost damn near almost, but like some of
yeah,
them is like I picked the 81 and it was a 63. I won. Like, all right.
yeah, like this is a game where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like cool. I'm glad I was closer, but like it doesn't feel like a victory necessarily. It feels like a victory when I get it exactly right, but
Yeah. 96,
also
97 is damn near the same.
like people are gonna like there's no way to know what the people are gonna do.
Yeah.
Can't trust people.
I was kind of looking
Again,
at some of the comments, and the critics, yeah, it's like superhero fatigue.
That's a
yeah,
trash critique though.
yeah.
It's
Because yeah,
trash.
like to just write off a genre is absurd.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. I am curious to see what our resident real critic, Rod from Flick Attack. I wonder if he saw the movie and if he's wrote a review on it yet.
Mm, good point.
Yeah. Should have had him play this game with some movies. That'd be interesting to see. Um, all right. Anything else?
That's
I don't
is
think so.
all.
All right. Well, hopefully everyone checks out Wolverine Deadpool. And I will say, if you join the Facebook group, let's not spoil the movie just yet. Let's at least
Yeah.
give this one another week and a half at least. Um, because I know this is going to be a big one for people, and some people might not want to see this first weekend. So we will talk about it in the Facebook group pretty soon. But not. Oh, one last thing. Let me tell y'all this, dude. I went to Frontier City yesterday, and we were waiting in line to for a ride. Dude's right in front of me, loud, spoiling the movie.
And
They talked about all the cameos, they talked about the fight scenes, talked about the ending. I'm just like, if I had not seen this movie the day before, do you know how mad I would have been?
right,
Bro, young teenagers, bro, teenagers.
of course.
Can't stand them.
Not even old enough to see the movie.
Right.
Right. Now he's supposed to be seeing it, but
Bro, just loud, just spoiling the movie. I'm just like, yo, this is wild.
that's
So,
crazy.
yeah. But yeah, be sure to join the Facebook group. When we bring it up, let us know your thoughts on the movie, and maybe we'll post a couple of comments and see which movie you think this is better than. So, with that being said, we'll never duplicate it.
Always appreciate it.
And forever melanated.